Hello and welcome to the World News on VOP TV. I am Kayla Abraham. We begin with the Israeli army, who has conducted a large-scale operation in a refugee camp in the occupied West Bank at dawn, killing 3 Palestinians and wounding 6 others on Monday. A large number of Israeli troops accompanied by bulldozers raided the Balata refugee camp near the city of Nablus with heavy gunfire, leading to armed confrontations with Palestinians. The Palestinian Health Ministry identified the 3 men killed as Mohammed Zaytoun, Fatih Rizk, and Abdullah Abu Hamdan. The Palestinian Red Crescent said one of the wounded is in critical condition. According to Wafa news agency, witnesses said gunfire and loud explosions rocked the camp, while Israeli forces deployed snipers on rooftops and prevented ambulances and medical personnel from entering the camp to evacuate the wounded. The Israelis also stormed dozens of houses in the camp, vandalizing them as they searched their contents. Local reports said Israeli forces demolished the home of the Abu Shalal family without notifying neighboring families, resulting in material damage to surrounding houses and the wounding of 2 people, including a girl. The Israeli military said that it arrested 13 wanted people across the West Bank, including 3 in the Balata camp. At least 117 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces in the West Bank so far this year, with another 34 killed in Gaza. A total of 18 Israelis have been killed by Palestinians over the same period. Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant has been left without power amid reports of Russian shelling of a high-voltage transmission line leading to Europe's largest nuclear station, as Russia launched a wave of missiles and drone attacks on the Dnipropetrovsk region overnight. Enerhoatom, the plant's Ukrainian operator, said in a statement on May 22 that the line was the last one supplying the plant with electricity from the Dnipropetrovsk region. It was the 7th time that the nuclear plant was operating without external power since the start of Russia's invasion. Enerhoatom said, adding that if power is not restored within the time span, there is a risk of an accident with worldwide radiation consequences. The situation around the plant has been a cause for concern ever since Russian forces took control of it soon after the Kremlin launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. The Ukrainian Air Defense reported earlier that Russian troops launched 16 missiles and 20 Iranian-made kamikaze drones on the Dnipropetrovsk region during the night and morning of May 22. As a result of the attack, several people were wounded. Earlier, the head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration said Lysak, reported damage and several wounded in the region as a result of the Russian airstrikes. Lysak said that 15 drones and 4 cruise missiles had been shot down by the Ukrainian air defenses. Separately, a Russia-installed official in Zaporizhzhia, Vladimir Rogov, said the nuclear plant was completely cut from external power supply after Ukraine disconnected a power line it controls. The Ukrainian military said on May 22 that in the east, heavy fighting for control of the city of Bakhmut continued over the past day, despite claims by Russia that the city that has been the epicenter of the war in eastern Ukraine had fallen to Moscow's troops. A group of 20 tourism meeting is set to begin in Indian-administered Kashmir amid high security, with China and Pakistan condemning holding the event in the disputed region. The Himalayan territory of Kashmir is the cause of a dispute between India and Pakistan since their independence 75 years ago. The 2 nuclear powers who claim its integrity but rule over parts of it have fought 2 of their 3 full-scale wars over the territory. The Indian portion of Kashmir, the country's only Muslim-majority region, has been ruled for decades by an armed rebellion seeking independence or a merger with Pakistan, with tens of thousands of civilians, soldiers, and Kashmiri rebels killed in the conflict. Police said last week that security had been beefed up to avoid any chance of terrorist attack during the G20 meeting, the first diplomatic event in the disputed region since New Delhi revoked its limited autonomy and took direct control in 2019. The three-day gathering starting Monday will take place at a sprawling, well-guarded venue on the shores of Dal Lake in Srinagar. Roads leading to the location have been blacktopped for the occasion, and electricity poles lit up in the colors of India's national flag to show what officials say is normalcy and peace returning to the region. India has been promoting tourism in its portion of Kashmir, and more than 1 million of its citizens visited last year. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced development projects to propel New Delhi's partnership with 14 member states of the Forum for Indian-Pacific Islands Cooperation (FIPIC) at its third summit, which began in Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea's capital, on Monday. During the one-day summit, which India and Papua New Guinea are co-hosting, Modi announced 12 projects in the forum's member countries, which the Indian Foreign Ministry referred to as a 12-step action plan in a statement issued in New Delhi. The FIPIC, which was founded in 2014, is a platform that brings together India and 14 developing Pacific Island countries to discuss regional challenges. The development projects include a 100-bed hospital in Fiji, an IT and cyber security training hub in Papua New Guinea, and a solar project for government buildings. Modi arrived in Port Moresby on Sunday, a first trip by any sitting Indian premier since the island nation gained independence, and met with his Papua New Guinean counterpart James Marape on the sidelines of the summit on Monday. The Indian Foreign Ministry said in a statement that both leaders took stock of their bilateral relations and discussed ways and means to further strengthen the partnership across various sectors, including trade and investment, health, capacity building, and skill development and information technology. Climate change, with its subsequent cyclones and rising sea levels, is one of the region's major challenges. The two leaders also talked about climate actions and strengthening people-to-people contact. The statement added that Modi reiterated India's support and respect for the priorities and wishes of the Pacific Island nations. Iranian state media says Ali Shamkhani, a longtime ally of Iran's supreme leader, has stepped down as the country's top security officials 2 months after signing a China-brokered deal with Saudi Arabia to end political rift. An Iranian insider said the change in leadership at the Supreme National Security Council was unlikely to have an impact on its policies, and that Shamkhani might be considered for a more important position in Iran. He did not elaborate, but with a parliamentary election due in February, when analysts believe the turnout will be low amid mounting political dissent and growing economic hardships, such moves of senior personnel are being watched closely. The state media said a Revolutionary Guards commander, Ali Akbar Ahmadian, has replaced Shamkhani, who served as chief of the Guards Joint Staff in the 2000s and later as head of a strategic center. Seen as the only ethnic Arab Iranian in such a senior position in the Shiite-dominated Iran, Shamkhani inked a China-brokered deal with Saudi Arabia in April that ended years of political rifts between the regional rivals. Active across the political spectrum in the Islamic Republic for decades, Shamkhani was appointed the Secretary of the Security Council in 2013 and served as defense minister under two-term reformist President Muhammad Khatami from 1997 to 2005. Born in Iran's oil-rich Khuzestan province in 1955 to a family from a minority group of Iranian Arabs, Shamkhani joined Iran's Guards shortly after its formation in 1979. He served as deputy commander of the Guards from 1981 to 1988. A massive fire has ripped through a historic post office building in the capital of the Philippines. Firefighters said the fire started before midnight in the basement of the neoclassical five-story building in Manila and was brought under control on Monday morning, more than 7 hours after it began. Officials said an investigation is underway to determine the cause of the fire and what was damaged. 7 people, most of them firefighters, sustained minor injuries or were overwhelmed by thick smoke. The Manila Central Post Office was the country's main mail sorting and distribution hub and was the central office for the Philippine Postal Corporation. The building, recognized as a national landmark, was built in 1926 with high columns in the traditional neoclassical style. It was severely damaged during the Second World War and was rebuilt in 1946. It has been used as a backdrop for many Philippine movies and stands near a plaza named after national hero Andres Bonifacio, which has been the site of protests by left-wing and nationalist activists over a range of political and social issues. It is located along the Pasig River and on a main intersection of the capital's key roads. Postal services in the Philippines began during the Spanish colonial period with couriers on horseback. As tensions with Iran have escalated over its nuclear program, the U.S. military posted pictures of a powerful bomb designed to penetrate deep into the earth and destroy underground facilities that could be used to enrich uranium this month. The U.S. Air Force in May 2 released rare images of the weapon, the GBU-57, known as the Massive Ordnance Penetrator. Then it took photos down apparently because the photographs revealed sensitive details about the weapon's composition and punch. The publication of the photographs comes as the Associated Press reported that Iran is making steady progress in constructing a nuclear facility that is likely beyond the range of the GBU-57, which is considered the U.S. military last-ditch weapon to take out underground bunkers. The Air Force posted images of the bombs on the Facebook page for Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. The base is home to the fleet of B-2 stealth bombers, the only aircraft that can deploy in the bomb. In a caption, the base said it had received 2 massive ordnance penetrator bombs, so munitions squadron that could test their performance. It is not the first time the Air Force has published photos and videos of the bomb that coincided with rising acrimony with Tehran over its nuclear program. In 2019, the U.S. military released a video of a B-2 bomber dropping 2 of the bombs. The Air Force did not respond to requests for comment on why it posted and removed the most recent set of photos. Officials said on Monday that militants have detonated explosives inside 2 empty girls' schools in northwestern Pakistan overnight, destroying 9 classrooms but causing no casualties. Girls' education has long been contentious for some regional militants, including the Pakistan Taliban, notorious for shooting then schoolgirl Malala Yousafzai as she campaigned for schooling in 2012. The twin attacks on the girls' school took place on Sunday night in the Hasukel and Gul Mosaki areas of North Waziristan, both around 32 kilometers from the border with Afghanistan. Senior local administration official Rahan Gul Khatak said militants planted improvised explosive devices in the 2 government middle schools for girls, which exploded late in the night. He said 6 classrooms in Hasukel and a further 3 in Gul Mosaki were destroyed. District Police Officer Salim Riaz confirmed the incident and said a full-scale investigation has been launched. North Waziristan has historically been a hive of militancy and was the target of a long-running Pakistani military offensive and U.S. drone strikes during the post-9/11 occupation of Afghanistan. Since the Taliban surged back to power in Kabul in 2021, Pakistan has witnessed a dramatic uptick in militancy, with the most attacks focused in border regions. The Pakistan Taliban remain among the most active groups in the area. It was formed in 2007 by Pakistani militants who splintered off the Afghan Taliban to focus their fight on Islamabad for supporting Americans' invasion. TTP fighters once held sway over swaths of northwest Pakistan but were turfed out by the army after 2014, the same year Halala won the Nobel Peace Prize for her campaign. Malala. The Sudan Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces have signed a crucial ceasefire agreement. The aim of this agreement is to facilitate the delivery of urgent humanitarian aid and restore essential services across the country. Mediated by the United States and Saudi Arabia, the agreement underscores the commitment of upholding Sudan's sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity. It reaffirms the principles and commitments established in the Jeddah Declaration of Commitment to protect the civilians of Sudan, agreed upon on May 11. Saturday's agreement comes into effect today, 48 hours after Saturday's deal, and will last 7 days. The agreement encompasses all of Sudan, and the parties jointly bear the responsibility of effectively communicating the ceasefire to the civilian population through various channels, including print, radio, and other means of communication. Of utmost importance, the ceasefire agreement obliges the parties to ensure freedom of movement for civilians throughout Sudan and protect them from violence, harassment, recruitment, and other forms of abuse. It explicitly prohibits a wide range of actions that could endanger civilians or hinder humanitarian efforts, such as attacks on civilians, targeting of infrastructure, obstruction of aid, and acquisition or distribution of arms. Conversely, the agreement permits certain actions, including repairing essential services and infrastructure, conducting medical evacuation, and providing non-combat materials and humanitarian assistance. The parties commit to establishing favorable conditions for emergency relief provision and ensuring safe and independent access for humanitarian agencies. To ensure compliance with the ceasefire agreement and coordinate humanitarian assistance, the parties have agreed to establish a monitoring and coordination committee. The committee comprises representatives from the SAF, RSF, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the United States, and international humanitarian actors. Its primary mandate is to oversee the implementation of the agreement. The MCC will receive reports of ceasefire violations, mediate disputes between the parties, and take appropriate measures in response to violations, including notifying and publicly identifying the responsible party. Additionally, it will facilitate coordination with the humanitarian actors, including the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs and the International Committee of the Red Cross, to ensure unhindered access to humanitarian aid, infrastructure repairs, and protection of civilians. Ahead of the agreement signing, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken engaged in a conversation with General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, SAF Commander-in-Chief. The State Department statement expressed Secretary Blinken urging for flexibility and leadership. It is noteworthy that General al-Burhan had previously expressed reservations about international monitoring of the ceasefire agreement. The humanitarian truce is designed to pave the way for political talks involving the IGAD, African Union, United Nations, and major international actors. And that is a wrap on the world news on VOP TV. I am Kayla Abraham. Thanks for watching.